So it's like the awkward silence at the beginning of the show.
Correct.
Yeah.
But we're back.
We're back. We should play that like an Eminem song as an entrance. We could have done a walk-in.
Probably like a walk-up song.
Man.
Probably get sued.
Should we start over? How's everybody doing? We're just going to kind of see what happens here. If anyone can hear us, if you can type in the chat, make sure that you can hear us. That would be great. I'm going to put on headphones for a second, have a listen. I can hear myself.
That's why we pay them all the big bucks.
Yeah, there we go. All right. We have some audio. We're glad to be back. It's been too long.
It has been too long. We have been
busy,
traveling, fishing,
lifing,
working, doing life.
Yeah, it's for me, it's, as people don't know, like I get done fishing and then I go right. So I do production work like this, video, audio, lighting, all of those things. And by the time I'm done fishing in middle of September, I'm usually a good month behind on everything that I do. So we've had a bunch of really great productions at work. And if you ever want to come check one of those out, send me a direct message and I'll get you in touch with all of that stuff. But anyways, very busy. Kids are good. They're getting bigger. They were in the last episode, I think, that I did. But they're getting big. Eli is ready to ice fish. I told him
2 people on the ice yesterday here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. 2.
My brother-in-law and Kevin, Captain Kevin from Sorry Kids, they went ice fishing yesterday. Eli said he has not enough ice yet.
Not a lot of people ice fishing.
I feel like he's smarter than most.
For a reason.
Yeah. Yeah, good things. Let's just kind of talk about
like a year in review.
Yeah, year in review.
Like 5 minutes of talking about this season and kind of what we did, recapping.
There again, if you are watching us currently, if you just drop a message so we know you're there, and in the comments, and if the audio is good and you can hear us and all of that, put a little message in there. That'd be great. I'm going to check the stream. Jeremy will start the year in review.
So the year in review. Well, we made a bunch of upgrades to the Tiara, and so we put a lot of effort into the Tiara last off season. You probably could talk more to it than I could. How, I was only on it once all season.
The Lions are still playing. All right, well, I guess we're live. Well, as soon as the Lions are on halftime, you guys can join us. Yeah, we did a lot of things. The Garmin, really got the Garmin dialed in this year. Enjoying that. Hey, Mike, Ryan, all kinds of people. David, Rich. Hey, Rich, how's it going? Got a couple minutes till halftime left. So we'll just start talking, and hopefully the Lions can tie it up. Hey, Sean. Hey, all these good people on here. All right. Yeah. So the Garmin, Garmin Electronics, Garmin is in a really good place, I feel, in the industry of electronics, and they're making some great products. And I know everybody is gun-ho about LiveScope and forward-looking sonar and all of those things, especially in bass fishing and walleye and those other sports. But for salmon, the PS30 is a tremendous asset to the boat.
If you don't have a Panoptix, if you don't have a PS30, don't even consider a LiveScope at this point. You have to have a PS30.
You do, and I think you get more. So we have both, and we have both on both boats, and in our experiences, especially in the larger boats, it's hard to get the LiveScope to really outperform the Panoptix. Mm-hmm. So the PS30 is the LiveScope, is the Panoptix. LVS 34, LVS 62, LVS 32, those are the LiveScopes, as you see in a lot of other fisheries. I know a lot of guys on smaller boats are using the LiveScope and having good results. It's very hard in a boat with 3-foot tall gunnels to get rid of the movement in the pole. And I think that's our limiting factor with that. But we're going to keep trying it.
Yeah, we're gonna get it figured.
We'll get it better.
And I think that there's definitely a role for it. I just think it's just more time on the water, more time.
It
we
is.
have a year, we have a season of it under our belt, and I still feel like we need more time before we were able to really talk about it and say this is what you need. I right now I would definitely advocate getting a PS30, getting Panoptics. You learn a lot with real time sonar. There's no question about it.
Yep.
Real time sonar versus historical sonar. You guys have heard me say it a bunch of times, but there is a lot to be learned from real time sonar for sure.
I agree. Other things with Garmin that I enjoy, the radar's fantastic. I will say I fish on a lot of different boats. All of the new radars are really good. But it's really tremendous to have really confident imaging coming in to you. And you have flare on the big boat, and that is a whole different level of impressive.
We have a 72-foot open array, or 72-inch open array, and a flare. And so our target separation is crazy. I mean, we can see the littlest thing. We can see individual birds.
We could see boats that were fishing 30 miles from us. And we could tell how fast they were going and what direction. Pretty incredible technology. And that's a small boat, like a 30, 40-foot boat.
Not that we were doing that, Joel, anything like that.
No.
Crispy or any
Crispy,
of you guys.
no.
We definitely were not watching you on radar.
Definitely was easy.
Easy? No, none of those guys. Definitely.
Yeah. So anyways, other things, I don't know. I mean, the aqua traction is in the charter boat is holding up. I think as good as to be expected. It's very comfortable. I do enjoy it. I'm still enjoying it. I will say that.
It'd be really hard to go back to
traditional floor.
To fiberglass.
Yeah.
Thinking, I don't see myself ever doing that.
And the cleaning is so easy to clean. I have another cleaning video. I make these cleaning videos and I feel like, oh, this is kind of like dumb, but it's that easy that I just feel like it has, it has some value there for sure. So yeah, other things. Oh, Rod Boss has been performing impressive. I'm super happy with Rod Boss. On the charter boat, I thank Mike for believing in us to help support him, and I thank him for making a great product. It really is. If you haven't seen it, get your hands on some. Check it out. Come down to the charter boat anytime. They do have it at Chuck's. They do have it a few places throughout. There's lots of shifting and changing going on in the salmon fishing world, especially with stores being bought and sold and companies being bought and sold, which is kind of the way of the industry. There's lots of things that I wasn't even go into that, but there's lots of things that have changed, and there's some new companies that I'm excited about. Mr. Chrome is one of those, and he's making a great product. He's making it up in the UP. Tom made a great product up there too. So maybe there's something in the UP that really spits out great things. But if you haven't checked out Mr. Chrome, definitely do that.
I think the Bush Light performed really well this year, all season. We
really did.
We never had a Bush Light failure.
No,
the whole season. It was pretty good.
We had one that fell in the water, but we got it out.
Yeah, we went and got it.
Yeah.
Bush Light.
Yeah. Thanks to them. They're always making my day easier. Ryan, yeah.
So we were going to talk quickly just about our tournament season, what that looked like for us this year. We started the season down in Michigan City. We missed the Pro-Am this year because of weather. We couldn't get the boat down. We couldn't get a weather window to run the boat from Grand Haven to Michigan City, which was like a 110-mile run for us. So we held up and stayed home. We didn't fish the Pro-Am this year for the first time in many, many years. Bummer. It's a great event, but we couldn't safely get the boat there, so we stayed home. The first tournament that we fished of the season was the Legends. We lost, I believe, to Brent Daggett. I believe Daggett won the Legends in Michigan City. We were us and Some Girls Do were the only boats, I believe, to weigh 5 kings.
Yeah.
I think we weighed the only 10 kings that might have been weighed. So we got beat with 5 lake trout. We had 5 kings. We had good fish, but the trout down there are big, and Brent Daggett and Sportsman is a master at it. So, we got second in the Legends. We didn't have a great showing in the main event in Michigan City. We did not catch our fish on day 2. We had a pretty decent day 1, but day 2 didn't let us down, and we struggled. So we ended up middle of the pack, so the 20th place or something, or 15th place, I don't know what it was. But nothing impressive. We went to Grand Haven. The Grand Haven ladies did okay. We got 6th place in the ladies tournament. We were right there knocking on the door. We just needed one more fish. That was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
But we got 6th. So 1 place out of the money.
And we had a great time.
Yeah, we had a good time.
And we actually went exploring that day.
We were definitely exploring.
In water that we did not go back to. If I remember right.
We went way, way south and way, way offshore. We were like somewhere near St. Joe by the time we were done.
Yeah, it was not a good spot.
Nope, wasn't the spot we wanted.
I don't think we caught any upgrades down there.
We went for a big old boat ride.
But I do believe that Brooks caught one in the pier heads.
I think we did.
When we came back.
I think we did.
And it weighed probably a half a pound. But it was his first one. So it's always it's good to be supportive of fishermen achieving their...
Coming back in 15 minutes ago and setting lines, and we caught
one. Wham! Got one. Big one.
But in the main event in Grand Haven this year, it was a definite heartbreaker for us.
Yes.
We got 2nd. We lost to Pure Chaos. Congrats, boys. It was a job well done.
Yeah.
And Grand Haven's special for me because I'm from here. Never won Grand Haven. Definitely the closest we ever came. We were right there. We just needed one couple more pounds, and we had her. But
we actually caught too many fish, and we had to come in.
Yeah.
And that's a real bad problem. I mean, you can't complain about that. The fishing was tough. The fishing is historically tough in Grand Haven. It's too bad that they can't shift some time schedules around and make these things a little bit better. But that being said, Crispy got it done.
Yeah.
And I feel like we took Crispy's role as bridesmaid this year.
We did.
So,
we were definitely bridesmaids all year. We spend a lot of time focusing on being consistent, and I think we absolutely crushed it. I think we were consistent every single day on the water. We had a couple days things didn't go our way, but we consistently caught our fish. We consistently caught good quality fish. We were right there in the hunt every single event all year long. So pretty happy with the performance. We went to Ludington next. I'll let you talk about Ludington since it's home for you.
Ludington's home for me. I love Ludington. I have, all my friends are there. All of my network's there. We had a great time. The big boy tournament, we put together a good plan. We executed well. I felt on that plan. And we ended up in 4th place, which is very respectable in that tournament, especially. And then the Legends tournament, we got another bridesmaid, and we came in 2nd place, and we had a heck of a box of fish. Mm-hmm. And my good friend Kevin and Ron on Sorry Kids, they put it together.
Didn't they have a big fish though?
They did.
Yeah, they had 35.
No, that was Micah.
Oh, that's right. That was Micah.
Yeah, they had a big one. I don't remember how big it was.
Yeah.
But still, just impressive to see the fish. The quality of the fish was incredible.
What did we have? Do you remember what we had for 5?
I don't. I'd have to look it up. I want to say that it
was well north of 100.
Yeah, and we still got beat.
We got beat.
Yeah, that's impressive. And then we came to the ladies' day, and we put it together, and we won with the women. I've never won the women's in Ludington, so I have to get the Legends. That's the only one I haven't won. But the ladies won. They did a great job. We had an awesome box of fish. Brent Daggett on Sportsman again. Stacy and the girls got it done. They had a 23-pound trout, which is an impressive fish in Ludington area, especially. And that's just like fish of a lifetime up here. But we did get them by just a little small margin, but we did. And then we came to the main event, the Classic, and the Offshore, and we fished really hard. We fished day 1. We did not have a lot of weight, but we had our fish. And day 2, we just rinse, repeat. Went back down there, and I think we were sitting in maybe 8th place or something on day 1. And the guys that went north and straight out struggled. and we actually ended up in second place. Sorry Kids was in third. Easy won, which is awesome because I think he was second place last year. The guys with the big box day one, they didn't big box day two. So it was impressive. It was one of those things where you're never out of it, even when you think you are, because we really did not think that we had a shot, especially to end up in second. And Easy was behind us, and they ended up in first. So awesome to see. So that was fun. And then we went up to Frankfort, and we didn't. I don't know. How did we do in the sevens? We weren't terrible. Somewhere.
I don't remember. I think we had a pretty decent sevens. I'm pretty sure we were pretty high up.
We fished the ladies, and we ran to Ludington because I don't know why that's a good idea, but it is. Yeah. I'm like, we got to go. We started. We did start in the barrel. Yeah. We were marking nothing. We caught a coho or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm getting call after call from Ludington that says they are getting them.
Yeah.
And we went and we actually caught them.
Yeah.
So it wasn't bad. And then we went there the next day, and we were sitting not too bad after day one. I think we were in the top 5. Third place.
Third going in.
And day two, we ran back to Ludington and tried to make it happen one more day, and it just didn't hold up for us. And the pressure at the point was unbelievable. There's so many boats.
Yeah. Sorry for the.
Yeah.
I know we got
we didn't make some friends,
boat, and we did lose some friends that day. And sometimes you just have to do what you have to do. And but it is what it is. I didn't ever intend to have that happen, but it's part of the deal.
When it's busy, everybody's got to give, and sometimes people don't. Sometimes it's us, and sometimes it's other people. But whatever, nobody lost anything.
Yeah.
No boats are injured. No fish were killed. They hit a fish right after they.
Happy to replace anything they got tangled up.
So anyway, we had a great time. We had a great year. It was really fun. Both boats ran really well. We had good experiences. I had finally figured I was having some weird issues with the one motor on the charter boat, and finally figured it out that the distributor was bad, and now it runs great. So it's exciting, very exciting.
So there's been some questions about people have seen that the Jupiter is for sale. That is true. The Jupiter is for sale. What happens next? We're going to leave that a mystery until it happens.
Angler Quest, probably.
An Angler Quest.
No.
Too bad they're not in business anymore.
Oh, they're not?
No.
Well, we're going to use one.
No, I don't know. I don't know what's next. There's a lot of appeal to going back to a diesel. Yeah. I love the speed of the Jupiter. I don't know. It's so hard. It's so hard to know what's best. So we'll see.
Yeah, if you have any great ideas, send them our way. Put in the comments what you'd like to see for the next innuendo.
Who knows?
Oh, all right. So we have some questions that people asked earlier. If you have any questions, feel free to rock them out, and we will try to.
We'll actually just ask Tyler Poles to step in and answer for us. There's actually an expert in the
oh yeah, right? There he is.
Yeah, I see him. So
Tyler, he should be here right now.
Yeah, you should be here. I don't know why you're not, but feel free to just jump in and answer all the questions and give people real information.
Yeah. Oh, so somebody asked earlier today about the consent decree and what's going on with it. We tried to put out a lot of good quality information about that earlier, and the same thing, we're trying to put out some good quality information about that now. So the consent decree did go through. Everything was basically approved. 6 of the 7 people signed off, and then there was some litigation about us as sportsmen not being represented by the DNR, or the Michigan DNR, and the Coalition of Michigan Resources. Or Coalition to Protect Michigan Resources. They filed a petition, or I'm not exactly sure. So there is some litigation still going on with that, but it is fully operating on the new decree, and so far so good. Everyone's playing nicely. So far, there's been very little conflict. So it's kind of a wait and see things. If you are a person that is inclined to do positive things for the fishery and support people that are doing positive things for the fishery, we do recommend that you look up the Coalition to Protect Michigan Resources, and any money that you donate to them is to represent us at the table. There was a ruling made or a judgment made that said that the coalition could possibly become a shareholder or have a spot at the table instead of kind of being just in the room. So they definitely could use this support. The money that they raise is used to help our fisheries, so that's a good thing for sure. So what else we got? I'll let you look on there. I'll go back and look in our other list.
So I think on the other list, there's a question that pertains to the bottom question here. So one thing we haven't really mentioned, we mentioned it last year, but we haven't talked about it yet today, is we also added, in addition to Starlink, we added Smart Troll. So
Yeah.
we now are fully wired on the boat. We have full connectivity everywhere we go, which is interesting because I was calling people when we were offshore this year, and they were like, "Where are you?" And I'm like, "I'm offshore." And they're like, "No, you're not." And I'm like, "I'm offshore." How do your cell phones work? I'm like, because we have Starlink. So yes, but we added that, and we also added Smart Troll, and I'm gonna let you kind of talk about Smart Troll.
Yeah. So we had a couple questions. One from Daryl right here, and then I think the other one was from Jason Biggins, and both pertain to how do you know where your divers are running? It's a guess. It's an estimate.
Mm-hmm.
You can do the math, the 3-to-1, 2-to-1. So the theory is if you have a high diver, so a small weight diver, medium ring, it would dive 3-to-1 ratio. So 300 feet out, it would go down 100 feet. That's the theory. With a mag diver, large ring, mag weight, it would go 2-to-1, and these are on wire. So 2-to-1. So out 200 feet should be down 100. If you want to actually know where they are, there's two ways you can do that. One, you can let them out till they hit the bottom, and you can then try to make your own chart that is what speed you're going, speed over ground, probably speed through the water, and also
really,
distance,
really
depth.
hard
it's hard to do. Daryl
Brooks on our team does have a chart.
He does have a chart.
Because especially before we were using electrics for trout fishing, that was one of the things that he was always trying to figure out is where is bottom and how close am I. But even with the electrics, now we're in meters. He has a chart for that too.
Well, and
we do use it
as you go. It's not linear. I mean, as you go, it planes. They start to plane out.
So, case in point, I took the wire off and I put braid on the electrics, and I thought, well, why can't we just run braid on the electrics, and then I can use them in the saltwater for deep dropping, same setups. And we could not get those divers to bottom, no matter how far we let them out. We let them out like 1,000 meters, and they don't hit bottom.
Yep.
They just plane out. They don't actually ever get to bottom. It's kind of crazy.
So the only way to really know, there's a company called Smart Troll. It makes a device. It's an inline device. It can measure speed. It measures temperature, and it measures depth. And it uses the same technology that that you're using with your fish hawk for depth, with the fish hawks that have depth, the deep versions. Except for you can run 6 of these. And so we were running them on our divers. And then later in the season, Daryl sent me a new prototype to run inline on a cannonball. And it's pretty awesome. All the data comes to one device. So you're seeing all of that information. And it's very surprising to see what we were seeing, especially in divers that just were defective.
That's
That
that's
we
the I
did
think
not
the
know.
most important thing right now we have
Yeah.
learned thus far is that not all things are created equal,
No,
and
exactly the same divers too.
yeah, you can have a setup that isn't running and isn't getting bit and isn't catching fish, and it looks the exact same. It's because the diver's something wrong with it. Like the arm might be bent a little bit, is what you were
Yep.
thinking, or maybe the lead isn't exactly in the right spot. So uh, there's a lot to be learned, and I think I look forward to having this more hardwired, more
Yeah.
implemented for this season, because part of it is whenever we add new technology, we often don't hard mount anything because we want to figure out how is it going to play with the rest of the electronics. We don't want to cut the dash. We don't want to, we're trying to keep things portable from boat to boat a little bit with us having a few boats, but I'm excited this year to spend some more time with it. And now that it's a bit more functional for us, I think it's going to be good.
I think so. And then the next part, Daryl asks, what's the longest copper lead core? Uh, so the same thing with copper and lead core. You can run these devices on copper lead core as well. You clip them on with offshore clips with the pins, and then you get a pretty accurate where's my stuff running. So I think it's I think there's a lot of value in that information. I think PS30 and the Smart Troll are right up there with like technology that's probably very intriguing.
It's essentially having the information that your fish hawk is giving you, but on each individual
rod. Yep.
And you can move it and put it on anything you want to put it on.
Especially when one side of the boat against the other side of the boat.
Correct.
And there was quite a bit of discrepancies between that, especially in Ludington. We have tons of current, so you get all kinds of weird things happening as far as that goes. So let's see what else we got here going on. I do have to give just a little in memoriam of we lost in Ludington. We had a legendary captain fished up and down the lake, Albert Loxonen, who part of the Fin Power crew, who passed earlier this week, and just our hearts are going out to the family and all of the friends of Albert. If you knew Albert, to know Albert was to know Albert. I mean, he was just one of those characters, and but fantastic fisherman, and really always pushing the envelope and trying new things.
A true pioneer.
True pioneer.
Yeah. So there's and the thing is there are not a lot of those guys left. There's a couple, but not a lot.
Not a lot.
No.
Yeah. Just to go and shake their hand and say you met them once is a pretty incredible thing with a lot of those guys. Yeah. So here's somebody just texted me this one. When it's not going right for you on day one of a tournament, when do you decide to pull the plug on your initial spot? I will say PS30 has changed the way that I fish.
Agreed.
And especially if I'm not seeing active moving fish on my PS30, I don't even care if they're on the sonar. On PS30, if I'm not seeing active moving fish, I'm gone. I am moving.
I would say, you want to say you're only going to give it 15 minutes or something, but truthfully, by the time you set lines and I think what we would generally do is we would make a pass.
Yeah.
If we make a pass, so if we generally, if you watch us fish, we are generally fishing some structure, no matter where we are. Yeah. Like we can be in Michigan City, we can be offshore, we could be Little Point, we could be Big Point, we could be Frankfort, but we're almost always fishing structure. If we target X, Y, or Z place, so let's say we're fishing on Little Point and we make a pass and we don't have, I would say 3-4 fish.
Yeah. We're probably
going to plan B, and we've been working on plan B all week. So we will have a plan B, and we'll even have a plan C. And so we'll.
And a lot of times, I mean, it's all different. It all depends on the tournament. If it's a 5-fish tournament, and you make a pass and you catch 3, and they're the right 3, you're staying.
You stay.
But like when we're fishing, especially in the pro stuff. a lot of times we got to catch 12 fish and maybe multiple species. And if if your power hour, like your first hour, you have to be pulling pretty good numbers. You want to probably get half of those fish in that first hour. And a lot of times what we're doing is we're just changing. Instead of going after kings, now we're going after fish. And we'll have a spot to go to that is just to get numbers, or to target lake trout and get numbers or something like that.
We often do that. It's a good point. And so people think, like, you see us go lake trout fishing. We're lake trout fishing on probably 4 rods, maybe 5, probably 4 on the big boat.
Yeah, maybe even 3.
Rods. Yeah.
The deeper you go, the less you're running.
So we're not, we'll put out a 3-rod lake trout spread, and every other rod on the boat is targeting something. And we're doing something with confidence, whether we're steelhead fishing, whether we're pulling meat rigs on deep coppers. You can't get away with a lot when you're lake trout fishing because you run on really long lines, but we're always fishing for offs. We're always fishing for others, even when we're targeting trout. And we're trying to put together, the faster we get to our 12, the better our day is going to be. Every time.
And a lot of times, when you go to your king spot, your early morning king spot, you could put one in the mud for trout. But a lot of times the trout aren't that big where those kings are. We find that the bigger trout aren't there. So a lot of times we don't. But if we're marking fish down there and we're not getting bit on the kings, we might throw one down there just to get numbers. It's a numbers game. You have to get your fish. We were just talking about catches this fish. Donato catches this fish.
Every time. You can bet they're going to have their fish. They're going to catch their fish. And those are the guys that are always at the top. And I think that's what we did this year. We caught our fish. And the only time that we weren't in the top 5, we didn't catch our fish.
Yep, absolutely. So, and it doesn't always work,
You gotta catch your fish.
It doesn't always work. You make the best decisions you can. There was times even in Ludington where we really had a lot of success, where we were going to go north, and then 30 seconds before we were going to go north, we turned. You gotta follow your gut too.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing. There is definitely a bit of gut and instinct involved, and the only way you can develop that is just time on the water. And so that's the one thing that we have a huge advantage is we had our crew compiled a lot of time on water if you added everybody up. So we have a lot of years on water and a lot of tournaments. So that's helpful.
Yeah, and generally we fish 2 boats pre-fishing, and usually quite a distance apart from each other. So we're trying to cover as much water as we can effectively. Yeah. We do have I have a bunch of shirts that are going to go live next week, and a bunch of hats as well. So this hat.
Yeah, I like this. I don't even have one of these hats yet.
I know.
I really like it.
And then the one that Jeremy has on as well, that one. And then we have some Grundage, some Tough Sons shirts that are finished finally. And those will all be available. It'll all be through Capt and Chuck. So if you can order them online, they'll ship them right to your house. Don't know if you're going to buy Christmas. I was hoping that would be the case, but things get busy. So it is what it is. What else? Oh.
Folks at Northwestern Michigan Fishing Club, cheers to you guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah. We, on the charter boat, at least, the Lions only have 9 fish and need 12. Are they going to catch their 3 trout?
I don't know, man.
That's a good question.
Hey, I think it is big time players make big time plays, so maybe.
Oh. So, the other thing, another big thing, two big things for me. So, I'm, Jeremy's fishes Shimano on the Jupiter, and I've fished Akuma for a very long time and am continuing down that road. However, Akuma has a new reel coming out that actually just came out, and the Cold Water A. And I've had some. Akuma was nice enough to send me some samples, factory testing for them, and they are great. I've had great success with them. So that's a big change. And then I am, so I'm excited about that.
I want to clarify. I am no longer on staff with Shimano.
So
you may very well see
a whole bunch.
Yeah, as I start replacing things, we're probably going to be heading in a different direction. But I just
there's a lot of great product. Yeah. There's a lot of great product out there. You should run the things that you should buy the best quality stuff that you can afford. And I think bang for your buck, it's really hard to beat Akula. I think you can spend a lot more money for arguably any benefit, but that is what it is.
Yeah. And I think the big thing historically has been the drag systems. And I think that's the things that they've been working out with. I think you've had your hand in that a little bit.
Yes.
Getting the improved drags in them. So it's funny that, let's see, who'd the question come from? Rich Barrett, if we fish any Wisconsin tournaments. So it's high on our list. And I'm not going to say it's going to happen this year, but I'm going to say it might happen this year. So we are kind of still finalizing the tournament schedule. We're probably going to scale back a little bit this year because our goal is to create a little bit more content and spend some more days offshore on the boat. And there's a few places we want to take the Jupiter to while we still own it. And those all involve us crossing the state line. So I think you'll see us on the other side of the lake this year, but stay tuned. Not sure.
Yeah. We never know. Hopefully though, I think it would be really fun.
Yeah.
I do think that a trip across would be a good time. And it's always just nice to meet people.
Heck, we spent half the season closer to Wisconsin than Michigan this year anyway.
That's very true. It would actually have been not as far of a run if we would have just went across. Oh. So what else we got here? Ken Davis. Hey, Ken. He asked about wave direction and wave and water current, which are good questions. And I think people have these perceived, they feel like they have to troll a certain direction. I think that you do, but I think your boat tells you that. Mm-hmm. I do think when it's rough, if you're in a smaller boat when it's rough, don't try to do something that makes it really hard to fish. Mm-hmm. I don't think that it's beneficial. I think it's good to go either into them or with them.
I think that's the same even on a big boat.
Yeah.
And a perfect example of that was when we were offshore
last year.
Awful. Last year for Grand Haven, we were offshore, and day one we crushed it out there. And day two, I could not get a troll to save my life. And I wanted to troll on the marks that we were on from the day before, and I could not troll on those marks. We were just tangling everything. Everything was hard. We were tangling downrigger balls. I mean, it was that bad.
There was cable rubbing on the side of the boat.
Yeah, it was rough. You couldn't get that troll.
No.
And so as soon as I abandoned that, like after a couple of hours of struggling, I abandoned that troll and just put it on the best troll that I could get on, and we started catching fish immediately. Yeah. And it's something that Adam is you really say that, you emphasize that a lot when we're out. Just find the best troll you can find and stay on it.
Yeah.
Whether that's into them, with them, whatever that looks like, but make it easy on yourself.
But I will say this too, that if it's really rough and you're going to an area that's very boaty, if there's 80 boats going north and you decide to run north and then go south through 80 boats, that's really hard too. And it's really difficult for you, and it's really difficult for everyone. And, sometimes getting in a position to where you can make a good straight troll and you can not have to maneuver constantly is beneficial too. I don't know. There's lots of, I don't know exactly how to say that, but there's lots of different things going on.
I'm all about making it easy though. Yeah, make it easy on yourself, because I do a bunch of saltwater fishing, and in this, a little bit smaller boat. I actually upgraded my saltwater boat to a 29-foot Capt center console, because the 25-foot center console that I was in, every time we left the dock, it was hard, and every time it was miserable, and every time we didn't catch any fish.
Yeah.
because you're just struggling. Don't make it struggle. Make it easy. Make it as easy as you can. I think it really does help. Andrew Miko's from Chicago. Thanks for watching and tuning in from Chicago.
Yeah.
Do we fish both sides of the lake? Well, we do fish over towards Chicago a little bit when we're down in Michigan City. So we have fished that somewhat, but the rest of the summer we typically stay on this side of the state line. Especially if we're tournament fishing, we're usually in Michigan waters, but not always if it's allowed. As far as and by the way, we do buy licenses for all the surrounding states.
Every
so we
state.
actually every crew member carries Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, and Wisconsin licenses because we never know where we're going to be in a given day. So that's just part of the deal.
When I started fishing with Jeremy, I just bought an Ohio license just in case.
Just in case we went up.
Just in case.
So, your question though is, do we think that baits that work over there also work over here? This is a great question.
I think that I don't know how to. This is my honest opinion. I think that water temperature, water clarity, and depth in the water column fish very similarly everywhere if you line the variables up.
If the variables are the same, I totally agree. The baits that are working are going to be the same baits if those things all are true.
Predominantly, Wisconsin water is warmer in the spring and cooler in the summer. Mm-hmm. The southern basin is I think fish aren't concentrated on breaks. And I think that you have to troll faster to cover more water. And that being said, you have to run different baits because you have to go faster. There's baits that work faster at faster speeds than other baits.
Of course.
And I don't know though, they fish a ton of the small paddles with fins, on the Wisconsin side, but we started fishing flip fins from Dreamweaver this year heavily in the last 2 years and really caught a lot of fish on them. So,
I'm pretty convinced that the same presentation will definitely work on both sides of the lake. What I mean by that is an 8-inch paddle with a fin will work in both spots. Do I think the colors vary from port to port or from one end of the lake to the other? Yes, and I think that's because of the water clarity and just the natural color of the water is different, and that's going to change throughout the year too. So when it's super cold in the springtime, when there's no algae and the plankton haven't shown up yet, it's a totally different game than in August when there's heavy fleas and a big thermocline and all the plankton and the water clarity is totally different. Baits that work in the spring are not going to work later in the summer. No. So I think that the answer is yes, I think they work. But I do think that it varies. And it's the same reason that Grand Haven and Ludington, if you looked at our spoon choices, now the same blanks are working.
Yep.
But what baits are better on the southern end in terms of colors are different than what's better on the north end of the lake.
And I think as the water warms up, it changes. And I think that if you look year to year, like somebody asked earlier, Ryan Capt asked something about color. How do you know what colors are going to be good next year? You really don't. It really depends where you fish, for one, but it definitely depends on water clarity, water temperature, depth in the water that you're fishing, all of those variables. When the water's really warm, and you're fishing that warm edge of the thermocline, you can put black spoons down there and you can catch kings on them all day long. Mm-hmm. And then, like the last couple of years, like raspberry carbon, which is an epic spoon, the bobby, as we call it in Ludington. But anyways, I think that fish needs warm water, or that bait needs warm water. It needs to be presented in warm water, and it really does well. So I don't know. Darren Reed. Big old walleye. You know what I think I need? A bunch of 20-inch walleyes.
For the fryer.
For this guy right here. Yeah. No, I'd like to come do the walleye thing. You
That's
guys,
been
you
a
guys
topic
crush
that
them down there.
we've kind of thrown around a little bit. A lot of you guys don't know I'm from that side of the state, so I grew up walleye fishing, did a bunch of walleye fishing. So getting back to it would be fun. It would be fun to go shoot an episode. We keep talking about
I
it.
think it would be fun. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it happen. It's just figuring it out. It might be something that I have to go do. Jeremy and I's schedules aligning together is exceptionally difficult. Like I'll go, 5 or 6 weeks in a row where I work every weekend, and then Jeremy works on and off weekends year round. So it really is a struggle. One thing, what was one thing that I did want to? Oh no, I can't remember what I was going to talk about. Go ahead.
Darren, I agree with you. Darren Brill said that he follows Michigan anglers and Wisconsin anglers as well. And the answer is yes. Lures work on both sides. And yeah, we agree. We definitely agree. Again, I think it varies throughout the year, but yes.
Here's my train of thought here. I'm back. I want to ask you this because I'm miffed by this year. Why? Why is there so many fish? Why? They had it in Wisconsin. We had it here. It was unbelievable.
This is the best year.
There was fish everywhere.
This is the best year of salmon fishing I have ever seen.
Why?
Well, I think that now whether or not they did it intentionally or they got lucky, I think that they finally have that predator-prey ratio somewhat figured out. Somewhat. I'm not saying they have it all figured out, and maybe they just got lucky, and that they scaled back the plants, the prey. The forage base expanded because we weren't planting as many fish, and we allowed the prey fish to rebound.
Yep.
So our bait population is as healthy as it's been. And then you tack on 3 years in a row of mild winters, which gave them all that much more ability to reproduce and survive the winter. And so you have so much bait. And then the survivability of the increase, they slightly increased the plants. I don't remember exactly. We got what, a million kings planted or something. What it was total?
Yeah, where you like Grand Haven South.
Yeah, there was maybe a million kings planted or something like that. And so you're starting to see the returns on that on top of good bait. That's what I think.
I mean, I haven't been doing this as long as some people. I've been fishing for a while, and I've seen some pretty good fishing. Mm-hmm. But this was pretty fantastic.
Because you had both things. Both things were true.
Yeah. You
had not only good numbers, but you had good size.
And you had kings, cohos, pinks. We had. I've never caught that many pinks in my entire life. And steelhead. Mm-hmm. We have no lake trout in Ludington. I don't understand it. There's some, but there's not.
I think the lake trout thing is all following the same pattern, and I think that the lake trout are not eating gobies. They're eating alewives.
And I'm a believer that there's bloater chubs again.
Or bloater chubs. But I'm saying that they're not bottom centric.
Yep.
It's harder to target them when they're up in the water column than when they're hugging bottom. Yep. So I think the way that we traditionally target them has been not as successful now. We did it this year. We went out and lake trout fish and we were consistent. Now, was it as good as it was 5 years ago when we could go out and catch 6 big trout in an hour? No, we didn't see that.
Yep.
But we could catch 3 in a few hours.
Yep.
Consistently.
And we could catch steelhead and kings while we were doing it.
Correct. So,
which we haven't been able to do before. So.
I think the lake trout are still there. I think that they're chasing other things.
I mean, we should see returns next year in Ludington of fish that we planted a couple years of kings. So we should see even more kings in Ludington. And that makes me very excited because the fishery was fantastic. The last day that we fished this year, I took a bunch of guys on the boat to shoot some video, and in middle of the day, I mean, I think we left at 3:30, 3:45 and ran up north of Ludington and caught, we had 15 steelhead in like 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's incredible fishery. So, bravo to the guys that are making the decisions. I really think it's going in the right direction and hopefully continues.
I'm from Lake Huron, and the last year that I fished in the charter industry in Lake Huron was 1999.
The last year. Yeah.
And so I saw that whole thing, and yeah, that could have happened here too. So like as much as we get frustrated with the DNR time to time from maybe not having our interests, I feel like either they got it right or they got lucky or maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah. All right. Ryan has a question. He says he's southern shore of Lake Superior. My brother-in-law is up there in the Keweenaw. Has had a boom of kings between size and numbers. Water clarity is much different in Lake than Lake Michigan. I think temperature too. Oh, he says that. He says that next. I think if I went up there, I think I'd treat it like when we're catching kings in the Southern Basin, and
in the spring.
In the spring,
I would definitely take my stick baits.
Stick baits.
I would take some plugs.
Yep. Thin fins if you're crazy.
Mag spoons, bright colors, up high in the water column, in shallow water. I think I would treat it exactly like you're saying. Growing up, we always fished. So if I'm new to an area in the spring with cold, clear water, the first place I'm going to look is every creek mouth that I can find will be my first place that I stop.
Anymore.
I will stop and fish every creek that I pull up on my electronics, and I will fish every creek mouth. Even if they're not flowing water, I will fish that creek mouth, and I'll just work them all through. I have found in cold, clear water, especially when the smelt have returned, that's where the kings usually are.
Yep.
They're definitely centered around, or the other would be like pier heads.
Yeah, for sure.
So anywhere there's a clear water meeting dirty water, that edge, that if you can find a hard edge, I would target that edge and treat it like structure.
I will say though, with the things that I've learned in the last probably 10 years of going out to deeper water, if you're marking fish down deep, they're probably kings. Mm-hmm. And you're
talking like over 300 feet of water though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Deep water.
But if you're, I know that Lake Superior drops off very quickly, so take a look out there.
Mm-hmm. If you're marking fish below 180 feet,
they're kings. Yeah. Especially if they're good hooks, like good marks. And generally, I'm running a paddle down there, or a spinny fly, paddle fly, some meat. But
even in the springtime in cold water, we run meat rigs. But I usually don't run a bunch of rotators. Don't get me wrong. I usually run one though. There's one rotator somewhere in the spread. Even if I'm fishing in 20 feet of water, I have a rotator somewhere, and it's usually on a rigger. Not always, but I would say usually, and it's either a big paddle or it could be a meat rig. The other thing that we'll do is we'll take like a 7 color and put an 8-inch fish shape, like an 8-inch weenie, little weenie, with a meat rig on a 7 color. Just send it right up the gut. We catch fish doing that. So I wouldn't be afraid to run meat or rotators, but primarily spoons and body baits.
Yeah, it's don't know. Oh yeah, Don Bale on here. We did talk about it a little bit earlier about electronics and how we're utilizing the electronics, and especially the PS30. So if you scroll back after we're done, you should be able to see that in there. Hopefully, we'll be able to get another one of these in the nearer future where we can maybe focus a little bit more just on electronics.
We could do a show, all about electronics. But I will say, Don, if you have specific questions, you can obviously how to get a hold of me. Just reach out to me. But I think that the electronics have gotten so much better that I put a lot of emphasis on what's going on in electronics. I'm paying a lot of attention to the sonar. And somebody had asked that question earlier, like, how do we know when to pull the plug? That's all in the electronics.
It is.
I'm watching the electronics, and if I'm not liking what I'm seeing, we'll make a pass and we're out of there.
I never would move in the dark. Never. Like, I just wasn't a thing that I did. And if I don't see fish on my PS30, I'm moving. I'm going deeper. I'm going shallower. I'm doing something.
Because it's absolute insanity when you see them in the dark before the sun's up, like when they're streaking through, like when it's bright.
It is crazy.
It's like it's in sim mode. It's like a simulation mode.
What was your number one bait this year from Jay Funk? I don't know. We had quite a few good ones. Pink Panties was good.
Meat rig.
Meat rig.
Yeah.
That was probably the best meat rig. We had moments of, I think in every port we had some baits that really shined.
Trying to think of what spoons what spoons did we?
Yeah, I mean, I had really good success. I ran a lot of Dreamweaver stuff. I ran a lot of Fuzzy Bear stuff. I ran a lot of Mr. Chrome stuff, and I had really good success in all of it. I think, I still ran a fair amount of moonshine, the original stuff, and had good success there. I think it was a spoon game. There was a lot of spoons going on. But the water never really warmed up below 60, 70 feet. So where rotators really shine, small rotators were really good for me with flies. Large paddles with really long leads, were really good.
Our paddles had long leads this year.
Long, 6 feet long. Longest that where you got to hand line your lead. So I don't know.
Jason Wilkerson. Hey Jay, better late than never.
Cole Hacker, how do you guys catch so many fish? I will say the first mates.
It's got to be the mates.
The mates are
That's
the
what I was
best.
thinking.
Yep. Especially mates that show up on time.
Not the ones that show up at our boat and steal beers out of the boat when we're not looking.
None of those.
We never. Those ones are probably not that good. But the ones that show up.
They got a group of mates in Ludington, and they say their first name and then put pot on the end, and those are the good ones. Yeah. Anyways,
what's up, Cole? Hope you're doing well, man.
He's a senior year. He's almost done. Danny asks, white with black ladderback. White with black ladderback plug was a machine. Absolutely. Plugs. I don't know that plugs were truly exceptional at any of the tournaments that we fished, but plugs in Ludington in August were unbelievable.
I think we had a plug bite in
Frankfort a little bit.
Yeah, we did.
But yeah, I was running. So my normal charter spread is 15 rods, and there was days that we had 12 rods out with plugs. It's just insane. We did really well on the number 4 silver hordes, and then also on Captain's Choice plugs. We did really well. And if you take a Captain's Choice plug and you take a ace high and you shake them like this, they sound different. And one day you'll catch them on, the one, and I don't know. I don't know if it actually correlates.
But this is the first year in a really long time for me that I don't think we caught very many fish on ace highs.
Yeah, this is the least for me.
I don't know why. And so Rachel Ridley asks, can you clarity when you use J plugs versus ace high? I would say we don't run a bunch of J plugs. If you're talking about Lure Jensen J plugs, we have a couple of J plugs that will definitely be in the spread at any given moment in the year, and that would be like a Chrome Redhead. That's a classic one that we definitely still run. There's one called a Glow Ghost, which I don't know the formal name of. That's another plug that gets in the rotation for us from Lure Jensen. But short of those, we're pretty much running, ace highs and Captain's Choice or drawing a blank. The silver hordes.
The silver horde, the small
ones. The silver horde plugs that look like a J plug. I would say we probably caught the most of our fish this year. Plug fish were on the number 4 silver horde, the little guy.
Yeah, I run
there it is, Tina. You asked. I was just waiting. I hope everyone's seen the commercials lately.
So we have to talk about this a little bit. There's this god awful thing in Chicago that bleeds into Michigan City, and we have a wonderful friend in Michigan City who introduced us to this
He brought this on my boat the very first time as a penalty shot.
It's so bad.
And it is a penalty shot for most people.
So I don't know if you've seen the videos of this Merlort.
But to me, it's not a penalty shot.
No, Jeremy's the only person in the world that likes
I
this.
think it's really good.
So
maybe I'm a little crazy. I don't know.
well,
It tastes good.
it is almost Christmas.
Let's see.
It's the new Christmas shot.
This is to 2025.
Yeah, hopefully get her done.
All right, Tina, this is on you. Cheers to you, Tina.
It's good. It's not bad. It's really not that bad.
I think it's really actually delicious.
I think there's something wrong with you.
So there we have it.
All right. Oh, Ken Davis, do you care if people bring bananas on your boat? No, but charter fishing, I'll give you my take on charter fishing. You have to catch fish. I mean, that's important. You have to give people a great experience. And it's part of it is a show. And part of the show is the whole banana thing. And, a good charter captain can have customers come on the boat and have the best day of their life or a mediocre day and still get off the boat and have a great time. Mm-hmm. And that happens from people that have good personalities and are interacting with their customers and just having fun.
You're not selling a cooler full of fish.
No.
Because you can catch a cooler full of fish and have unhappy customers.
Yep. And I want people that want to come on the boat and have a great experience. And it is about the experience. All right. What else we got here? Oh, Mason.
The question up higher, actually, we skipped over it. The question was, what do we think about the camera data? Lots of salmon and trout following and not biting that often.
I think that's always happened.
Yeah, I think that's true.
I think you see it more with Panoptics. You see it a lot. You'll see it where they swim next to the cannonball. They're not even near the bait. They're next to the cannonball.
So I think this is a function of how they. This is like their instinct. Their the way that they work is they are following predators, right? So they're follow until something changes
and they react,
which triggers their prey drive. If you're not triggering their prey drive, they're not going to eat something that isn't their prey.
Yep.
Because it's short on something, right? It doesn't have the scent, doesn't have the action, doesn't have whatever. But you have to trigger the prey drive. And so that looks like changing something to make them bite. Whether that's a little bit of speed, a little bit of direction, or another fish showing up in the spread. That's when you see it, right? Another fish shows up in the spread and boom, that fish that's been following will eat. Or sometimes just tripping a downrigger and changing something dramatic in the spread. Like just if you're pulling a paddle and you just walk over and trip it and let it float, another rod will go off. And that's because there was some change in that spread that triggered the prey drive of a fish that was following.
And I think it's more subtle than sharp. Mm-hmm. So I'll let you take that how you want. Mm-hmm. I learned something this year that I'm not going to share with anyone. But I learned it this year, and it is a subtle thing that you can do, and it works. Mm-hmm. And but I think constantly bringing things in, letting things out, changing things, motion, movement. It's like when you duck hunt and you have all of your decoys, and then you have, if you have decoys that are making a little bit different movements or whatever, however you're making that happen. It just changes that presentation. I think it's the same,
I also think, and I don't know how we could ever prove this, but I think you think this too. And that's that sometimes if you're the first boat there and you have a bunch of glow baits in the water, for instance, you will draw a pot of fish in that will follow you around until they are done.
Yep.
And so you have a bunch of fish around you that are following you, and the boat right next to you is not getting bit. And so Don just asked that question. Actually, it's interesting. It's an interesting segue. What do you guys do when they are catching fish all around you and you're not? What do you think you're doing wrong? I don't think you're necessarily doing anything wrong. I think that they have a pot of fish around them. And I have been on both sides of that many times where we're just getting annihilated and the boat next to us is watching. And we're watching. I mean, it happened to us last year in Ludington. We're watching like literally somebody in like a a 1984 Sea Ray with hand crank downriggers and eagle claw rods that were standing up straight in the air. We're fishing right next to them, and we're like, "You got a fish on your out now."
We're calling their bites, and they are like having the best day of their life,
and we're just sitting there watching
them. We're calling their bites. Hey, oh, there you go. Yep, hi Rod. No, yeah, you got that one.
So, like, I mean, it can happen to anybody on any given day, but I really think that a group of fish will come in and follow, and then they won't peel off until something changes.
I think it's important there's baits that you should have in the water early in the morning to bring fish to you. Mm-hmm. And they don't always catch the fish, but they catch the fish.
It's hard to sacrifice a rod, but I believe, and that's why I said, even in the skinny water, I always have a rotator in the spread because I think it creates some commotion, and I think there's value in it.
Yep, for sure. What time is it? How long have we been doing this? Oh, just an hour. Are the lines back on? What's the score? Somebody give me an update. I feel like
David Hanna said Mike's side small plug on a 5-color was hot out of temp. It's always hot out of temp. I agree with you on that.
I think that the water was the cold water. We had cold water a lot, and we didn't get piss warm water that was 100 feet down. And those 5 colors, those 7 colors, those 3 colors, they're not that far away. Mm-hmm. They're 15 feet away. A fish is going to go up 15 feet to hit a bait. When the thermal's down 110 feet, you're not going to get a fish to go up 60 feet.
Yeah.
But 5 feet, 10 feet, 20 feet, no problem. Yeah. So that's still in the strike zone.
And they feel it, right? So, I mean, they have lateral lines. It's not even necessarily, they don't even necessarily see it, but they feel it, and then they react to it. And I think you see that. What's up, Todd? Good to hear from you. I hope you're doing well. Back to Don, your question about what do you do? What do you think you're doing wrong? I don't think you're doing anything wrong, but I will say, and you guys are great fishermen, you know the answer to this. Change something. That's always the answer. Change your speed. Change your direction.
Change a bait.
Change something.
Sometimes go back to the A team.
Yeah. Put confidence baits out, but change direction. You might have to alter your course 5 degrees, 10 degrees, bump your speed up a couple of points. Change something, and usually something will happen. But not always. It always makes me think of that time when we were struggling after the morning bite.
Which time?
The only time that we were complaining about the fact that we couldn't get bit after the morning bite, and Joe Crank sent us a link to our video on what to do after the morning bite.
Yeah, which I may have sent to lots of people over the years.
So yeah, it happens. It happens to everybody, to the best of them.
I think it's having the confidence in different things, having confidence in.
38-21.
That's not good.
Oh, 38-31. 38-31 or 38-21? Which? Oh, 38-21. No good. Oof.
Yeah,
we got to stop playing our good players when we're ahead by 30. People getting injured.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think we're in for a good year. I mean, I don't know why it would change. I think the fishery is. I don't want to jinx it, but I think we made it through. I think we made it through the scary Lake Huron crash. So
I don't know if anyone can. I would love someone to debate me on this, but I really believe that we have a world-class salmonoid fishery.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything.
There's
nothing that
better anywhere else. There's bigger
Alaska,
fish.
fine, but Alaska is.
But not kings.
And it's not approachable.
No,
it's not approachable. There's no fishery in the world like this that's approachable to.
Especially trolling the way that we do it.
Correct.
Yeah. I think we're very blessed to have what we have.
I mean, even the river fishing, which doesn't count, by the way, but it's pretty good.
Oh, Dan. Oh, hard to beat Ontario.
I mean, Great Lakes in general. I'm not just saying Lake Michigan. I'm saying, I totally agree. Lake Ontario has truly also a world-class fishery, no question. But I mean the Great Lakes in general. Danny Flanagan, what was the question? What was his question?
I don't see it. See if he'll
Danny, can
text
you just
it
repeat
or
your question?
Put it again. Yeah.
Yeah, just put it in.
So when we're doing these live streams, we live stream to like 5 different platforms at the same time. So if you're sitting on Facebook watching this or sitting on YouTube watching this, you're only seeing the comments on YouTube or Facebook, and where we're getting a million comments at the same time. Can you guys talk about fishing deep for kings? I did more than I ever have this year, fishing 200 plus down, even cold water up top. It makes sense. These fish, yep. So I think like Casey, we had that. You had a conversation with Casey about this, and.
Yeah. So Casey Prisco, again, the questions, the mention of Lake Ontario, like we are close friends with Casey Prisco and Lake Ontario and Fat Nancy's as well over there. So I mean, it's a world class fishery, best brown trout fishing in the world, no question. Like the browns in Lake Ontario are stupid, crazy, awesome. So if you guys ever want to go catch brown trout, go to Lake Ontario.
Or Milwaukee. Either one.
Yes, also, but even that I don't think compares to Ontario Browns. But Anthony, we can't tell you any more tips and tricks because you catch all the fish here. So we're not gonna interestingly enough, we also spend a lot of time in deep water fishing for kings, and there's some baits that we run in deep water that we probably won't talk about, but I will say that they're on the large format, meaning that they're not small paddles, they're big paddles. And we run really long leads. We've already said that, 6 foot plus. So sometimes we'll run a fly, sometimes we'll run clean meat, just no teasers, but just clean meat rigs or clean meat heads with a piece of bait.
And I have tried running long meat rigs, and it does work, but having more than 3 teasers doesn't seem to be beneficial in my experiences.
Mm-hmm. And this is something that we've collaborated a little bit on with our friends in Lake Ontario, because they do run like freaking 10-footers. They run really long leads, and it works. But I think the thing about fishing deep is you have to keep it simple. Run confidence baits. Keep it simple. Don't try to overload the spread down there because you can't, and you can't really turn. You have to straight line troll. If you try to turn, you create problems. We keep the spread small when we're deep fishing, and I think that people that know where we are, what we're doing, know that we're generally fishing deep water. That is where we are the best.
And speed and direction. That's the key.
You learn a lot about finding a good troll when you go outside.
Yeah.
When you find the deep water, like you can't have a bad troll because you'll just be tangling everything up, or one half of the boat is literally doing nothing. You might as well not be fishing it. You have to you learn a lot about finding a good troll.
Oh, Ryan says appreciates the discussion and all that. But Ryan, if you have information on either of those ports that you mentioned there, we would love you to reach out to us, because we would love to maybe make our way that way.
So Fairport is really, really high on our list of places to fish this year.
I want to go. So
I think it's going to happen. Like I said before, we're going to scale back our tournaments this year because we want to go to Fairport, honestly.
And we would love to collaborate with anyone up there and come fishing with us. Whatever. We'd love to just get the whole experience and understand the fishery, and I think it'd be great.
I think you will see content from Fairport this year.
I hope so.
Yes.
One way or another, even if it's on the Angler Quest.
We might be taking a 14-foot aluminum boat.
Or the Zodiac.
I do have a Zodiac. We could bring the Zodiac. Actually,
what I always wanted to do on a Zodiac? This is really bad, but I'm going to tell you. Yeah. So I thought it would be amazing to get a Zodiac. It'd have to be blacked out Zodiac. And then when people are going down the bank catching all those fish, and there's all those boats, just go and net their fish, and then just
cut them off.
Yeah, dude, is that illegal?
That probably is. Probably be angler.
What if you give them their baits back?
I don't know. You might get away with it once.
Hey, if you see a black Zodiac at the point in Ludington doing that, not us. No, definitely not. No, it's probably Crank.
Oh, touchdown Lions.
Oh, we're back in the
All
game.
right, so Danny, you had asked, and you specifically asked your question.
Good question.
Around twice.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, so do you ever see a big change in trolling speed based on the time of year? And your program, does sunny versus gloomy weather affect the lures you're planning on running? Yes, yes, and yes.
Yes.
All yes.
Yep.
So let's take it one at a time. Do you see a big change in trolling speeds based on the time of year?
Yes.
I find that in the springtime with the colder water, I'm generally trolling faster than I am as the year progresses. And most of that is based on the need to cover more water to increase the number of bites that you're going to get.
The fish are not as constant.
Correct. So you don't have a thermocline. The fish are not, it's not set up. There's no reason why the fish are in where they are in the water column other than there might be bait there. So I troll typically pretty fast in general, but especially in the springtime, I'm definitely rocking over 3 miles an hour most of the time. And if I find a pot of fish, like if I find kings, I will stop, turn, and slow down and fish on those kings. But I will keep trucking at 3.2, 3.3. I troll fast. That's me.
It's too fast, but
too fast.
Yeah.
But
sometimes I go 2.6.
Yeah. So, but that's a springtime thing, yeah. And it's and that's really a Grand Haven thing because we don't have any structure. It's a big bowl of sand down here, so we have to cover ground in order to catch fish. And so you troll until you find them. Sometimes you stop and beat on them if you can slow down, great, but not always. So question number one. Question number two: does sunny versus gloomy weather affect the lures that you're planning on running? Yes.
Yes.
I definitely think so. I'll let you take that.
I don't know. I don't know that there's like a necessarily. It's cloudy now. I'm going to run this. I don't know that that's true because there's more variables, especially with water temp. Yeah. What's the water temp where you're fishing? Are you fishing a thermocline? Those kind of things. How deep is the thermocline? But I do believe that black baits. I like to run black baits. I like to run purple. Darker baits.
I like purple.
Purple. I like purple.
Run a lot of purple. If you look at our meat rigs, like when it's cloudy, there's a lot of purple.
Yep.
We're running purple.
And I think when it's bright, sunny, high, we tend to run a lot of like UV, a lot of chrome, right. Bright things.
I think that one of the ways that the industry has changed in the last 5 years, maybe 10, but 5 for sure, is the baits are a lot more forgiving than they ever used to be.
Yes.
They used to be black or white, or glow or not, or chrome or not, or bright or dark. Now
the technology of how they can produce.
Now the baits,
100%.
You have glow baits with UV that are good, like moonshine, like RV moonshines, for instance. Yeah. Those RV moonshines are good on bright days. That doesn't make any sense.
Nope.
According to our theory, right? So, but I think the baits have gotten so much better, so much more forgiving that you can run them almost in any condition. Almost.
I think if you look at good baits from every company, and you look at shiny, glow, painted, not painted, bright painted, not white, black, you'll start to see patterns.
Mm-hmm. What do you think the most important feature is? So I'm not talking about when you look at a spoon on the boat, but when you put that spoon in the water, what do you think the most important feature is for that to be a successful bait?
Contrast.
100%. And he said it immediately, and it's exactly what I wanted him to say because that is the truth.
Yeah.
Contrast. Because a spoon that looks the same on both sides doesn't flash. There's no contrast. You have to have contrast. If you watch bait fish when they swim side to side,
it's insanity, especially in the ocean.
Complete insanity.
So cool.
So that's what you're trying to create, contrast.
Yep, I agree. And I think if you pay attention to contrast of what's working and other things with similar contrast, you'll be able to build a program faster.
Correct. So when you're talking about bright day versus gloomy day, what I'm thinking is what bait is going to have the most contrast when I put it in the water. Don't care. And so the answer is like a fireball, which is an awesome spoon, and we catch a shit ton of fish on.
Dull spoon with shiny on the other side. Red, the first color to disappear.
First color to disappear. So what does that look like when it's 20 feet down, 30 feet? It's a black spoon.
Black and silver.
Black and dull silver on the back. Why does it catch so many fish? Because of contrast.
And I think the earrings. I think the noise.
The dingles.
I think they make noise.
But,
I don't know.
Prove
I think me wrong. No, I don't know.
But I think it's true. I think it's a orangish red spoon, and we catch We catch fish on that spoon literally every single time we leave the
I
dock.
think that maybe that's the greatest thing that us Ludington boys brought to the Grand Haven boat.
It could be.
They're like, you run that every day, no matter what the conditions are, no matter what, it's always out. Yep, catches fish.
Hey, we need to catch one real quick. What do you guys want to run?
Fireball. What about a 300? What's a good bait? Fireball. It's a lot of fun. I wish I knew all the answers. I just when you are fishing deep, 120 plus, what is your usual catch? I would say that we catch more kings than anything else down there. But I think that it depends on the bait that you put down there.
And the location.
And location.
There are places that we go to fish deep, and we are there for one reason, and it is not to catch kings.
Yep.
So it depends on what we're targeting. But yeah.
When you're up by Fairport, take. See, I've heard of it. So Tom gives us some info up there, and I've heard a lot about Washington Island and Rock Island, and I'd like to. I think it would be great. I think it'd be great to
film. I want to go and create content.
I think it'd be fun.
So
we don't want to blow it up, and
you'll see less of us on the tournament circuit this year, and more of us just creating content.
It's a lot easy. It's a lot easier for us to put 3 or 4 days together than 7 or 8 days. And generally, when we're fishing a tournament, it's a minimum of a 7-day commitment to go do it. We want to cover all of our bases, have plan A, B, and C in place. And sometimes it takes a long time to put all that together. So,
Mr. Chrome, we appreciate your support this year, by the way.
Yes, for sure.
Reaching out to us about Manistee, but we can talk offline about it. But we're certainly going to make a trip up there this year. And
I will be up. I'm coming up to ice fish, Little Bay, Denok, or maybe Big Bay if it freezes. But anyways, I plan to come visit you, Mason. So be prepared. I'll bring more Lord.
Don't plan to visit anything that involves ice fishing. I will be somewhere warm catching.
Jeremy lives on one of the best ice fishing bayous in Michigan, and he doesn't ice fish.
No. Why would I ever want to ice fish? It makes no sense to me.
It's fun.
No, it's not.
It's just like this.
Yeah.
Sitting here, we talk fishing, we hang out. You got a buddy heater running.
I don't mind. Once
Until
I get
it turns
there,
off.
It's like cold.
Oh. All right, we'll do like one more, and then we're going to kick this thing for today. So that's a good question too. I'll let you take this one because for like in Ludington, it's usually a north-south thing
Until it isn't.
But generally, it's you're not usually having the luxury of going east and west.
You can't troll east and west in Ludington until you get outside of like 300 feet.
Yeah,
and then you can.
But
so I would say this.
This is something that I learned.
So the question is, when searching for fish, do you run east-west until you figure it out your temp and depth of fish? So the answer is yes, depending. So if I am fishing somewhere that does not have structure, I generally will put it on like a 240 troll. If the current allows me to troll at a 240, that's generally my favorite troll. I will put it on a southwest troll and roll until I start catching fish. However, if you're fishing structure, like we are when we're fishing around points, when we're fishing up in Frankfort, when we're fishing down south, if I'm fishing structure, I'm fishing structure. It's not north, south, east, west. It's on the structure. I'm picking a line and I'm going to fish it. But places like Grand Haven, where we don't really have any structure, it's generally a troll west or southwest or northwest until you figure them out and then turn in that band of water and work north-south. So that's something that Willis Carriage taught me many years ago. And if you watch him fish, he'll put it on like a 240 until he starts getting bit, and then he'll correct and either go north-south in that band of water, because those fish tend, when there's not structure, they tend to ride in bands all up and down the lakeshore. At least on the Michigan side, that's what we see. Touchdown Lions. Again?
What's the score now?
That would make it, they're down
35?
by 3.
Oh, wow.
3. So,
Yeah, I think we talked about a lot of stuff. I don't know if any of it was valuable, but
more than anything, we just wanted to say
yeah,
this is kind of the cap for 2024. Thanks to everyone for the support on the channel, and
shameless plugs. We should do some of those.
looking forward to 25. We hope to see you guys out there. Please, 45, 35. Oh, they're down by 10. Oh, I thought it was down by
45, 35. Yeah, maybe we'll watch the end of the game.
Yeah.
But thank you to all of our, everybody that's helped us out. Garmin couldn't do it without that support. Captain Chucks, Dreamweaver. Shane is great to us and believes in what we're doing, and we believe in what he's doing. So that's a great thing. Akuma, I can't say enough. I appreciate them greatly. I don't want to leave anybody out. Grundens
was awesome.
Oh,
and if you guys aren't running Grundens gear, please check out Grundens. We are going to have some new companies on board this year, so
we're working on this,
finishing that up, and so there will be some of that coming. Smart Troll was awesome to work with this year. Rod Boss for sure. Rapala,
Morgan Stackle, takes good care of us. We enjoy their service.
VMC for hooks.
Yuck. Gotta love Ged. Thank you, Ged, for everything.
Ged
even
hooked us up.
Even gave us a net.
Once again.
When we flew one out of the boat.
We did fly a net out of the boat at 50 miles an hour this year, which is super fun. When one just disappears and just shoots out like a cannon.
Yeah.
Suffix line was good to us.
Mr. Chrome. I enjoyed Mr. Chrome. I enjoyed it. It's a good new addition.
So we put down a little bit of an investment at the beginning of the year to buy some Mr. Chrome to get in the spread, and he definitely took care of us, and we appreciate that. The big one, you had some experience this year with the big one, which is new for you.
So
I've been running this forever. Now you're
I'll just do a little bit. So I don't I haven't ventured very far in the meat. Like I like to run ballyhoo and I like to run herring, and that's about it. And I messed around with some other things, and then fishing with Jeremy, I got introduced to this company called The Big One, and they have alewife and they have herring, and their herring is fantastic. The alewife is fantastic as well. I had a great experience.
Yeah.
Like not that you should let your bait get warm, not that you should let your, all of these things keep it cold. That stuff is really consistent. It doesn't seem to matter. Like his brining process is fantastic.
And I'm a huge proponent of keeping it cold, and I've been saying that from day one, even when that wasn't how they sold it. I said keep it cold.
And Gambler.
I was going to say that as well. So Gambler rigs, if you're
spinning gloves, fantastic. If you guys
want really, really awesome spinning glow paints, check out Gambler rigs. Lake Ontario.
And if you want to have a conversation with a guy, I don't know if he just wants to talk to everyone, but if you can have great conversations with him.
Yeah.
About everything salmon fishing, and there's a lot of thought into everything that they're doing.
If you want to figure out how to catch big lake trout, you talk to that guy.
Yeah. Impressive.
They catch big lake trout. And Hammerhead Bells, Casey Prisco, our friend, our close friend and colleague, Casey Prisco bought Hammerhead this year.
Oh, he did?
He did.
I did not know that. Very,
see some of
very
that
cool.
coming,
Congratulations.
down the pike for us.
I will say big water tackle. I love them.
Big water
tackle. I love them. I'm still running them.
Big Weenie's been good to us.
Big Weenie.
There'll be some changes coming on that side, from what I understand. But again, it's the industry is always changing.
It always is. And Nova Tackle, who I am doing some stuff with now, and he has a line of big water rods coming out. And I had some on the boat for most of the month of August, and they are fantastic. And I will be running those on the charter boat this year, and we will see about the big boat.
Are we leaving anybody out?
I hope not.
We probably are. We suck at
this. Bahio. I mean, I love Bahio. I hope that they want to commit to having a bigger presence up here in the Great Lakes.
I know
But
that'd be really great because if you're not running Bahios, at this
they're
point,
really nice.
It's really the
and I got these. I'm older, and I have to have corrective lenses, and
I need them. Really
they're fantastic.
I can't see anything.
I'm super impressed. But back Grundens, Grundens. The boots are great, and they're lasting extremely well.
The Gore-Tex,
that are fantastic. You can't buy anything that's better than that. I don't think.
Nope. And we came.
And I've tried all of it.
We had good suits. We had our gill suits.
Great
awesome
suits. These are just as good.
These are next level because you're not sweating your ass off in July.
And they make all different temperature.
Yeah. So the ones we have, you can stay dry, and not sweat your ass off.
Oh, I didn't throw anything.
Well, there's
nothing to. Oh yeah. I almost forgot. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Click the subscribe button, hit the bell. Hopefully, we'll be doing more of these. We're going to try and kind of keep a stronger presence through the winter. We have a lot of footage that I'll start releasing now from the summer, and little tips and tricks and all of those things. We appreciate you guys, and look up all of the people that help us and sponsor us, and they're making great products, and check them out. Get your hands on them. Captain Chucks has most of them right in stock. And
if there's anything you guys want to see from us,
let us know.
Please let us know. Like if there's ideas for shows. I know Sean Spar has been honest.
We will come.
We
will.
We tried.
So hard.
We really wanted to film a sturgeon show. It just didn't. Schedule wise, it was a tough time for us. So,
and I want to do the Lake Erie walleye thing as well, and it's just finding the time.
Yeah.
So maybe we can do it in the summer.
We did shoot some saltwater stuff, which should be coming.
We did.
So we got some marlin fishing, some different stuff coming. So hopefully that'll be of interest to people. And
it's a cool fishery. If you enjoy this fishery, I think that's something special that they have down there.
Go do that.
And especially, you have to drive to beautiful places to be able to do that fishery. Not that Ludington's not beautiful, or Grand Haven. I don't know.
That's right. Ludington.
Pentwater. That's where I would go.
Shh.
Oh.
Talk about that.
It's like the Fairport of the South.
That's what to talk about Pentwater.
All right, you guys. Have a happy holidays. And hopefully we will see you all soon.
Yeah. Say hello. See you guys. Thanks. All right. That was good. I think it's good.
Mm-hmm. We should just do one of these remote. We'll just do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it from home. Because we could do this like once every other week or something for an hour.
We should.
And I think we could probably be just as efficient. Other than I don't understand.
This crank snowmobile. It's like 1,000 horsepower snowmobile. Oh.